there are very few men here who are committed. There's Mr. Bromden, Mr. Tabor, some of the Chronics, and you.
I'm so tired right now, I can hardly hold my head up. But let me make this note. I was wanting to say this the other day. You know, in the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there's this character, I forget his name now, but he's one of the involuntary patients, as McMurphy learns later when he learns that he's one too. He didn't know anything, that there was any such thing. You're an involuntary, meaning you can't get out of this place until these folks say you can. He learns that late in the movie, right? And he's finding out, well, who else among you is involuntary? He says, you're involuntary, right, Billy? And Billy's I'm voluntary. You're voluntary. What about you, Sedgwick? You're involuntary? No. No, I'm voluntary. So one of the other involuntaries is this guy who he does look like, well, this is supposed to be me. This guy who's involuntary. I was involuntary, right? So this guy, I forget his name, but here's what he does, you know. He's talking along, and then he suddenly goes, somebody said, hey, straighten up, you know. Because, you know, you see the way I'm laughing and stuff like that, you know, like, at times out in the real world, it seems to be like that. You're inappropriately laughing or something at the time when you shouldn't be, so you should be like talking along, and then you straight up, you get you straighten back up to the reality you're in. This guy was always doing that. He's the guy where I think McMurphy's cigarette somehow falls into the cuff of his pants, and he's sitting there during a group meeting, and suddenly this cigarette that he doesn't know flipped into the cuff of his pant leg. It's starting to burn like hell, right? And he starts screaming, ah, ah, like that. And so what do they think? They think he's flipping out, right? So they're all tackling him, and they're going to handcuff him up and, you know, chain him down to a bed. A cigarette is in his pant leg. That's why he's yelling like that. I ought to go back and get these clips. I'm waking up as I'm making this note. So, you know, this movie's showing all the stuff that goes wrong in the mental prison. And I can tell you right now, man, that movie it's secular scripture on the mental prison. It really is. It's not, that's the way the mental prison was, I guess. It's very much like that. It's very much like that. It really is, like presented in the movie. You do get in line for those medicines they're going to dispense to you, and they do say, okay, open up, and you got to go and show that you took the medicine. Oh, God. Oh, so that you don't do like in the movie Total Recall, right? That guy said, take this pill as a sign that you want to return to reality. He said, you take it. So finally he takes the pill, you know, and then without, you don't know that he hasn't swallowed it, and he's talking to this guy, and he finally shoots the guy in the head when he decides he's a liar, and then he goes, he spits the pill He shot this guy right in the middle of his head. Now he spits the pill at him. You can see a lot of folks don't like those pills, and they're right in not liking them. Oh boy! Now you see what I mean? I'm like that character. I'm gonna get a clip. He's doing that. I do it too, because if you have gone through some of these correction experiences where you're talking around like me and suddenly you just severely they're gonna grab you. You have experiences like that, you'll start doing what I'm doing. And what he did, he's talking along and he goes like that. You do that because you get punished that way out of the blue, so that you incorporate that into your way of communicating, as if to say, yeah, you did this to me, and I get it. Yeah, oh God. See there, I'm doing it again. That is what happens when you've had these horrific experiences in those mental prisons. I don't even want to talk about them. Okay, anyway, so this jovial discussion here, this is the way it happens. You talk along like that. Well, here's another example where you see that kind of thing. If you've ever seen the movie Deer Hunter, right? When the Pennsylvania guys who enlist together are now captives of the North Vietnamese or the Viet Cong over there in Vietnam. Now they're prisoners of war, these guys. And what are they doing in that hut? They're having them play Russian roulette, right? And as they're playing the Russian roulette, they say, okay, take the gun. And then they're laughing, like this. And then what happens, the guy says, come to Mao! And he slaps the guy in the face, okay? Come to Mao, like that. And the laughter stops. Well, that is the way things happen in the mental prison as well. You're gonna laugh along, right? And then you're gonna get pulled up short, okay? And you're back and forth like that, and that is presented as something that happens between, what do you call this? A prisoner and his capturer, right? That is the interplay. When you have control over somebody like that, you can be back and forth that way, especially when you're laughing about, life and death stuff. Like you're the Vietnamese, and you're remembering how maybe you were waterboarded and tortured when you were captured, and you got out of that somehow, and now you got somebody there, and you're saying, it's very funny, is what you did to me, and then boom, you're back and forth like that. Well, anyway, this guy, this character in the mental prison that you see in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, he also shows the same kind of thing that you see in the characters of, where you have prisoners, and you have Michael there, and you're playing Russian roulette, and you're saying, okay, the gun has got like 4 bullets out of 6 chambers. And, funny, you did this to me, now you, okay, and then, okay, pull the trigger, let's get going, okay? It's not really funny, right? Back and forth.